There was this thing that you said, I think I told you this before, but you said this in like 2000, I want to say 15, when we were hanging out, and it like changed the framework of what I wanted from my life.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
what
crazy.
Because this fool was like, because
I like to jack off.
yeah, and then I just started jacking it. Wow, I haven't.
Joe's right.
Welcome back to another episode of Careful Boys. Today we're going to talk a little bit about something that a lot of you might relate to. Before the cameras turned on, we were just talking about some life stuff that we were up to, and then Subin, what did you say to us?
We're old.
No, I said I was stressing, not like keeping up with y'all financially and just like assets wise.
You can't keep up with me ever.
No, I know.
It's not a universe.
It's not possible.
First of all, it's already late to even keep up with them. But I was just in my head like, yo, they got all this and that. I was like, where am I at? You know, I was having a baby, but then I remember they're like 20 years older than me.
20.
Yeah. I think so. No. Are you what are you 28? 20 what?
28.
You're 28, right?
28.
Okay.
28.
I just hit 40.
Yeah, man.
You are 40 now.
Yes.
Happy birthday, yeah.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Hey, man, you look f***ing great.
Thank you.
Seriously, for real.
I'm like 12 years older.
12 years
Yeah,
older.
12.
Yeah.
Wait, you're really 28?
Yeah.
So you said I'm 20 years old and you? You.
He made that number bigger so he don't feel so bad.
The difference between me and Joe is I actually look like I'm 20 years older than you, pal.
That's a great comeback. Wait, so you actually feel like you feel like you're not where you wanted to be by this point in life?
No, not necessarily. It's just like I wanted.
I know what you mean though.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
I just want
it's
more.
like you forget how young we are because of how we look so fresh and cool and done. But I think just being in a circle, it's natural to like kind of compare yourself and be like, what am I doing with my life when all these guys are like set up? But I actually think we're late bloomers.
Hell yeah, dude.
We ducked around a lot. We fucked around a lot.
Yeah, but also the times are changing too because the 40s is like the new 30s. It's not.
That's what I believe.
Cope harder.
Wait, how old are you? You two? I think. How old are you? Because we're one. I feel like we're one generation. You guys are one, and then he's
Yeah.
Right behind
We're
us.
like in the 30s.
I'm 31.
Yeah, I'm 33.
Damn, you are 31, huh?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I feel like a piece of shit.
So it's like 40. You're right in the middle actually.
38.
Yeah, you're right in between us and them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you freaking.
I'm the bridge. That's
Yeah,
good.
you're the bridge.
I allow you guys
That's
to
right.
communicate with each other.
I think we just seem younger because we have such virgin like features.
There you go. Low body count. Low body
Yeah,
count.
like we act like virgins and shit.
Those videos are good though. They're like, what would you tell your 20-year-old self, or what would you tell your 30-year-old self, or whatever?
I'd be like, there's nothing you can do, man. It's just have fun, bro. There's nothing you can do. That's
good.
You're fucked, yeah.
You know how I feel is when I was in my 20s, like younger than you, listening to them in their 30s, that's when I was like, okay, this is what you should be doing, this is what you shouldn't be doing. And now that I'm in my 30s, I still don't have what they have. It's because I realized like it's like a generation thing. It doesn't matter. It's because you guys were born in like a certain generation, so you're already ahead in terms of like certain assets and certain things. But then once I'm in my 20s, it was already a different time. There was the internet, like there's so many things that are already changing in the world that by the time I get to my 30s, it's like, well, I still have to keep working and keep doing stuff in order to even get to where they're getting. So I'm probably not gonna even get close to them until I'm in my 40s, I feel like.
But the difference is who took the most risks, right?
Yeah.
Always.
That's true.
It just is. Because like if you ever left the comfort of a job and you like set out to make your own business or whatever the fuck, like I hate saying that because I'm like, what I do is not a business to me in my brain because it's so stupid. But
it is.
It is. And so it's like, but when you do that, you leave the comfort of the 9 to 5 and knowing that you have your weekends and your nights and all this shit, you don't have to stress. But if you take on that responsibility, you don't have a day off, not really.
That's true. I think that's one thing this particular group did differently. So like, we're all like freelancers or business owners or investors or something that isn't like working for someone else, or even if we are, it's temporarily, right?
Right.
So it's such a specific field of like, all right, we made it to our 40s pursuing our dreams. Now we can tell people 30s and 20s what it's like. And it might not apply to people out there that are like working 9 to 5s. Because that's the first leap, I think, I think that's one thing we all did well, is like being able to just do what you want.
Yeah.
That's the first,
Yeah.
that's actually the hardest leap. Because not a lot of people even get to that point.
But we also kind of did it on accident. It wasn't like as deliberate
It's lucky.
as it seems.
Lucky timing for sure.
Whenever we talk about this stuff, it sounds like it was so deliberate.
Like we planned it out.
We did not do that. Like it just kind of kept on happening. And if you keep the momentum going and let it roll like a snowball down a hill, and you don't fuck it up for yourself too bad, it can work out.
Damn.
I would say though, like,
I fucked it up.
whether you're a 9 to 5er, whether you're a freelancer,
Yeah.
whether you're like business owner, I think like straight out of high school, what I wish I did is as soon as I had a job, was put that money away and don't even dip into it. Cause I had savings, I had shit, and I'll be like, man, I want those new rims though, and I've been saving up $4,000, and then I would go spend it. But
they looked fire.
But they looked fire. But also back then, we didn't have shit like Robinhood. We didn't have shit like Bitcoin and like crypto and then like Coinbase and things that we can deposit our money into. That can like, we didn't have access to stocks. Back then, you had to talk to like a stockbroker and fucking...
You had to throw your money into an actual fire.
Yeah.
Whereas now we can do it digitally.
Everything you can do it online. So I think at that age, shit, as soon as I started working fucking Target, Subway, whatever, I would put like 15% even every week. I would just put that paycheck, and then by the time you're like 25, 30, you'd have a good chunk of change. Yeah.
It's also like so relative when you think about it too. It's like depending on like if you have group chats with old friends, some people will be like, "Oh man, dude, you have it made. You get to wake up and do whatever you want." And then other people who are like multi-millionaires will be like, "Bro, you got to get your shit together." Yeah. It's like depends on what direction people are talking to you from, and it's like to some people we're like massively failure.
Oh, of course.
It just depends.
But it is like your friend group. Like I've had friends where, like, growing up with them, they don't talk about like putting your money away, investing, saving, all that stuff. But then you talk to a different group of friends who might be older, different place in life, and they're constantly talking about it, and then you're like, oh, this is like a different language you guys are speaking. But then you kind of have to put yourself on game to be like, oh, okay, I guess I'm lacking in this area. But I feel like that was like what you said about the saving money. I'm like, dude, totally.
Yeah, plus it depends on why they're talking to you about that in the first place. Because some dudes will talk to you about your life and then at the end be like, so I think you should sign up under me to sell this mushroom tea. It's like, fuck, man.
Don't say mushrooms on here.
Well, also too, I think that this group is great, like in particular, because everyone openly talks about finance stuff in ways that I don't think a lot of other people do. There's like this weird politeness about, oh, we don't talk about money, and I always get along more with people who get in the gritty financial details of things so I can learn something. Like Joe taught me a shitload about credit card stuff that I didn't know, and this is just like what, like 6 years ago?
Credit card fraud?
Yeah, credit card fraud. How to fraud, how to actually do it, how to get away with it. No, but
Thanks, Joe.
No, Joe showed me, blew my mind about points, about like how your points can like be used.
It's like free money.
Exactly.
It's like Chuck E. Cheese tickets.
And it's not corny or fake or anything. He really goes into how he does it, and he actually has lived this life that way. And that opened up a whole new part of my brain where now I understand that stuff better. I just think that more transparency helps people learn.
I know. I think finances and stuff like that get really touchy, like diet and health,
Emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't really hang out with people that are too touchy, broke and fat too. Nah, they're either rich and fat or broken unhealthy.
Wait, what?
Broken healthy. Yeah. I don't do the fat and broke. I only do rich and broke combo or
Rich and broke.
Rich and
broke. Yeah.
Russian bro.
No, I was hanging out with this couple, and they were telling me how they go to the Super Bowl like every year, and I was like, oh shit, how much you guys pay for tickets? Like, oh, we don't talk about that. And I'm like,
What?
Oh, I
For
won't.
paying for
I was like,
Super Bowl
I will
tickets?
not. First of all, I can just go look it up.
What row? What section?
Isn't it like 20 G's or something? Or
Has to be. It's at least. It was. I think. Well, the last one. I think. It
'Cause
was at least
Walter
8K
did-
last month.
Oh, okay.
Last-
Dude, we don't talk about that.
I was like, oh, well,
What a way to respond.
well, exactly. I'm like, first of all, I brought you fucking confetti from the Super Bowl, dude. You should be sucking my dick right now.
But what if it's a thing where they just get a deal?
If you don't want people to even ask, don't even talk about your wealth. Like real wealthy people that are like not ashamed, but like they need to hide their shit because people are like, you're that fucking rich, and they hate that shit. They don't even mention that they went to the Maldives or whatever.
That's true. Yeah.
They don't even
They don't
talk
even
about
look
So
like
true.
the type.
What's up, guys? If you do not know, we have a Patreon. I want you to click in our description and go over there and check out all the beautiful stuff we have for you. It's super duper access for only our super duper exclusive lovers like yourselves. You're gonna be getting one never been released director's cut every week. But not only that, you get another fresh, too hot for YouTube video.
We say some crazy shit on there.
2 videos a week. But not only that, you get to join our Discord and come chat with us, direct access. We're in there, the whole Careful Boys in there, jumping in, dogpiling on people, laughing, playing, joking, whatever. And you can come talk to us directly.
So if you like what we do and what we've been doing for the past 10 years, please support our Patreon and click the link below to get all the details.
There's so many different tiers. You can see it when you click that. Some of these guys I know that are like, what do you call it when you grow up ashamed of your wealth, right? You know those types that like, oh yeah, I'm normal like you guys, but they're so fucking loaded, but they don't like loaded people.
They have like
They wanna-
imposter syndrome, but
Yeah.
socially. Yeah. That's true.
And then you find out you're like, you're so much richer than I thought you were.
Yeah, but I also like I hate the inverse of that, which is like you're super not rich and you're just kind of like average, but you act like you are, and by buying certain luxury things and you go, oh look at this new thing I got, but really you're like fucking in debt or whatever. I don't like that either. Yeah.
That's just
But
called flossing, man. Have you heard of it, dude?
I would rather have the rich guy that pretends he's not rich versus the poor person.
Oh, dude, I love those guys.
To me, it's like the guy wearing the Constitution shirt and he's got an American flag hat, and I'm like, we get it.
Yeah.
All your passwords have 1776.
The Bill of Rights boxers.
Yeah.
Bill of Rights.
Hey, you know what's really cool though, Subin, is that if that's how you feel, literally all these dudes here will tell you everything they know about how you can make money and stuff. It's like really cool.
No,
Yeah.
that's why I was like, this is
Like
great.
the amount that he's helped me and like all of us with
Yeah, for
crypto
real.
stuff. You know, as funny as it sounds from the outside that that's a real thing, like it's actually like you can ask anytime.
Or just hearing you guys talk and I'm just sitting on the
Yeah.
side. I'm like,
That's what I'm doing. I'm just being.
His information helped me with the combination of my balls make $2 million, but my brain made me lose it all.
Wait, what?
Okay. On the mend.
it's a hard combination
On
to
the
get, dude.
That's what's cool is that like there's sometimes people around you that have all these like secrets, but they won't tell you, or they'll tell you something.
That's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why people do that. It's like, why don't you want your friends to come up? Because I always had this mentality of like, when your friends come up, it actually makes your job so much easier.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, like, why, like, when you're sitting there jealous of your own friend because they're like doing well, I'm like, well, if they're doing well, that means now you can combine forces.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the most successful in the room because that means we're really bad in a bad place. Like, right?
If I'm top dog,
You don't want to, or like you don't want to be the most successful in every room. You want to at least have like different groups where you're like, oh, this group, yeah, they're like 40 and 50, and then so when I'm there, I'm like the little bro, and then they could teach me, and then now I can have like another group where it's like, oh yeah, they're a bunch of younger guys, but they're fun because maybe like they like to do outdoor shit, they have more energy, right? But then in that circle, I could be the guy that's like, oh, like teach us about some, old man shit,
It's cool too because even if you're competitive by nature, it's sick to be competitive as a unit against other units.
But other people be competitive by destroying their friends.
Yeah, they're like
the frenemy
internally
shit.
competitive.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like me and Bar had friends like that in our old group where they were so fixated on being the lead and so fixated on competing, and like they spent so much time just trying to compete, but like in a more destructive way that it didn't even. I was like, why? Like you're just jealous and angry for what reason? And then like having internal competition things, but it didn't even produce work.
Yeah.
It's just like it just produces drama, and you're like you're not even making money. You're not doing anything productive. You're just hating, and I'm all like. I mean, that was just. There are people that exist out there, but that's just fucking weird to
Dude,
me.
you know what's scary is like people that found the secret to financial wealth, but then they lack heavily on like their mentality. So they're
Ayahuasca
like-
health.
Yeah, like how he's saying where it's like super toxic. They're always treating each other negative, like bad competition or whatever. But I feel like that's another thing that you can also be wealthy in, and that's what I learned early on. Actually, the mindset of like how to actually be like think like a wealthy person or whatever, and then from there, that's how all the other opportunities will come because you're already setting your mind right to be in a positive, growing and whatever.
I mean, if you already are in a good headspace, then you're thinking more open and creatively. I think when you're like stressed the fuck out, you're thinking more like scared. So that's like scared money. That's what they call it in poker. Like it's like you're afraid to make moves and do logical things because you're kind of you're just afraid to do anything.
There was this thing that you said. I think I told you this before, but you said this in like 2000. I want to say 15, when we were hanging out. And it like changed the framework of what I wanted from my life.
What?
Really?
That's
Wait, what
crazy.
Because this fool was like, because
I like to jack off.
yeah, and then I started jacking it. Wow, I haven't.
Chose right.
No, it's like
I'm no longer team no fat.
we were hanging out. It was like because at the time I was still working on Dietrich's channel. And then we were always like working on a bunch of different stuff. He was working on Dietrich's channel too at the time. And then we went to hang out with you guys. I forgot like what we were doing, but Dom was like talking about all the stuff that he wants to do to you and Bart, and he was like, "Yeah, I want to write a movie, do all this stuff." And then you and Bart were just going like this. And then at the end of it, like when it was like your turn to say what you want to do, like you just went, "I just want to be a professional lazy person." And then I was like, I do too. I was like, you could do that?
That sounds pretty cool.
That's so funny.
you
I would have
like-
never said that today.
Yeah, you were like, I just want to work enough that I don't have to work. Like, I don't want to do all that, these projects and shit. I was like, dude, that's fucking tough.
And now he's cleaning bathrooms in Jubilee, Hawaii.
Scraping shit off the tile. And trying to tell everyone it's the ground.
He's like, what are these fucking kids eating?
Macho's making them shit like crazy.
What's all this locomoco?
We're taking off the Betty. We're taking. I swear to God, we're
thought
taking
that
off
was
the Betty.
like that. Like really blew my mind because like it's not often that successful people to me are always trying to give you the 12-step plan.
Oh, like because they're always like on that grind.
Yeah.
And I'm just there like, bro, I'm just trying to have fun.
Yeah. And I always felt like that was like one of those things that maybe isn't allowed to be said because it's not inspiring, you know. And up until that point, I was always like preparing a good answer.
Oh, okay. So that's what you took. From
I
it.
think the intention behind the message is what's more important, but it's just the way he said
Well, it was
it.
very honest too. It was very.
That's how
legit.
you define. That's how he defines happiness.
Yeah.
That's what he wants.
And everybody has a different version of that.
And then I do too, but I always felt like that I couldn't do that. I was like, oh no, I have to be this inspiring figure, and I have to have my shit together in a certain way.
Because I think like I would have never said that today. But
What would you say today?
Well, what I took from it is the consistent part of what I do is I'll just say how I truly feel. So then it doesn't matter. Like I'm not presenting anything, and I don't have anything to like get ready for anyone. So then like if someone like you, Subin, that's like 28, like you might hear someone say something, at a certain point, but they're also gonna change as people too. Like me, like I wanted to be a professional lazy person, whatever the fuck that idiot meant. And then it actually meant something to Ryan, and then now I'm like, I would have never fucking said that. That's so stupid.
No, man.
He's taking it back.
He's like, no. I'm too lazy now.
I remember I was talking to this guy who's like a communist one time, and I was like one of those parties, and this guy's like, yeah, I'm a fucking communist or whatever, and I was like, and he was basically like saying that we don't need certain things, like the way he was like, nobody needs all this stuff, you don't need all this stuff, and I was like, so in your world, like, it doesn't matter if, like, so for me, my definition of happiness is I have a big house that I can host all my friends in, and, like, we all can fuck around, and they don't have to worry about anything. When they're staying with me, like, they're set. And for you, it's like, oh, well, I live in an area close to a farmer's market, and I can ride my bike, and, like, I can go get a baguette and come back home, and I'm happy, right? Like, to you, that's happiness. So we have different versions of happiness, and I'm willing to work to get to my version of happiness.
Right.
And for you, you already got it. So you just think everyone should have to be like you. And so to me, I have to be as miserable as you because that life is misery to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
sense,
I don't get that shit. To me, you'll never have the equal shit that you want because everyone has different desires.
And he's at an advantage that he requires so much less in order to be satisfied.
Right.
Which is cool. Yeah,
so
that's
professional
fine.
lazy person, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I really do, because it's like that to me is that to you is happiness. Where, dude, I've always asked myself that. I'm like, Warren Buffett is 98 years old or whatever. He's sitting up there for Berkshire doing like an 8-hour talk, and he could be anywhere in the world, like literally fucking anyone's mom or whatever.
Anyone's mom.
Anyone's mom. Or the hottest women. He could do whatever you wanted to do.
He's so specialized to where he can do all the projects that only he wants to do.
Yeah.
Right, but he obviously likes it.
Professional
And I think
lazy.
that takes so much more work to me. Like someone saying, like when you said I want to be a professional lazy person, in my mind I saw the greater amount of work it takes to be that.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
There you
it's
go.
harder. It's hard. How do you set up? Because nobody can tell you how to set up that many sources of passive income that you don't have to go to work that day.
Right.
That's way fucking harder.
And I was just on a cruise, like, you know, I was just on this cruise going all over the fucking Caribbean or whatever, and the whole time I got any chance at all, I was doing my crypto patterns like I always do because that's what I enjoy. So it just comes down to that. It's like, if you enjoy something, no one's going to be able to rip you from it no matter how much money you make.
You know why I would never say that is because I actually achieved professional lazyism, and then I semi-retired during COVID. And then once you get to a point where, because like when me and Bart came here and we worked 4 days a month, just JK News. Everything else is like it's been running, right?
Yeah.
So then that is professional lazy, and then I was like, I don't have any purpose anymore because
I got something else.
So that's why I opened up a Jumbi. And
That's why he wants to clean shit off the
He
toilet.
jumped into the void, man. And that's
But
the.
isn't that why people say when you retire, you die?
Yeah, that's true.
I think like a good balance is what makes me happy. It's like, all right, cool, work a lot and then be lazy a lot and then go back to work and then just keep doing that.
Yeah, bouncing back and forth is nice. Yeah.
Because you know you're gonna keep growing and you know you're gonna get the time to do what you want at the same time. So.
But also, I think like it depends on what you spend your time on. Cause like if you compare someone and go like, man, they got a really fucking good relationship, but then they're like 20 years deep into the relationship with all the ups and downs, and they fucking fought through it, right? And it's like, well, if you've only been with your girl for like 2 years, how do you expect your relationship to be as good as this couple?
20-year-old.
Or like, yeah, like you see a guy like one of my friends, he has a fund of $100 million. I don't think I've ever seen that number ever in my life, even on a calculator, right? So like,
And you can press it anytime.
the calculator doesn't fit. But when you hear a story though, like he didn't have his college straight out of high school, he worked his ass off, and he didn't have a youth like that I did. He didn't get to travel like I did, and like he didn't do any of that stuff until he was like mid-20s, late 20s, and even then he was hanging with old people while he was doing that stuff. So it's like, yeah, he's like mega fucking rich, but he exchanged our experience that we had in our 20s.
Yeah, there's a trade-off.
He went straight from 18 to 30-something-year-old man. So like, yeah, it's like that was the sacrifice he gave. So I can't compare myself because I'm like, well, that's a completely different exchange. You know what I mean? And then he can't compare himself to me, like, oh, you guys had so much fun. You dated so many
to go
girls.
to Saddle Ranch.
Yeah. So I think it's that, like, you got to see the true comparison is if you did exactly the same thing and this fool's crushing it, that's when you know you're a loser.
Hey, that's a good point. Yeah. That's a good point.
And at the same age.
Not the same age.
You started at the same
I didn't even
time.
try, bro.
Yeah.
I think things are a little different for me also now because I do have a kid coming. So I'm willing to sacrifice my fun, you know, for
I feel like that's what all guys do is like, oh shit, I got a kid.
Once you have a kid, yeah.
Fuck,
Yeah.
I gotta make money.
that's
I'm sure
literally what
something
it is.
clicks, like
Yeah,
something
yeah.
different happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, I was just driving one day and I was like looking back. I was like, imagine if I had a kid in the behind me, you know? And I was like, what the fuck?
Probably
Kid's
shouldn't be
coming in
doing a
July.
wheelie on the freeway. Then.
No, I was just like, I have a kid coming back in July. And I had to pretend I was like talking to my kid in the back of my truck. It was weird. I was just like, dang, I gotta make sure he's set. So
It's a he?
clicked. It's a he, yeah.
Do you know that? Did you talk to him about it?
So far, so
Oh,
far.
yeah.
They are in West Hollywood.
That's what I'm saying.
His face? He's like, no.
We're moving.
Yeah, you should move quick.
No, we are.